Good morning, you guys. I'm going to start giving everybody the opportunity to start just coming into the room, okay? I'm going to give y'all the opportunity to start coming into the room. Okay? And hit the like button as you come into the room, okay? Okay. Let me see. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button as y'all come in. You guys doing okay this morning? Hey, Holiday Tracks, Phenomenal Black Woman, Blaine Fields, Zen Memorial Service, Shamas, Bennett, Black Ice, 66 Reeves, Robbie Murray, Diane Wright. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button as y'all come into the room. Hit the like button. Okay. I want to talk about we're going to be talking about the 5 officers in this Tyre Nichols case had court today, and they pleaded not guilty. Okay. I'm going to give some more people the opportunity to start coming into the room. Okay. Hold on, you guys. Hey, JP3. How you guys doing this morning? I lost my dog. Every day this hurt. Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, TB21. I'm going to start giving everybody the opportunity to start getting the notifications. Okay. I'm going to start giving them the opportunity to start getting the notifications. Y'all doing okay this morning? Now, my grandbaby done had me up since 5 a.m. So y'all know. She just left. She just left. I have not had the opportunity to have no type of rest. None whatsoever. Okay. None whatsoever. Hey, Black Diamond. Hey, Miss Teresa. Hey, True Aquarius. I'm just giving people the opportunity to get the notifications because sometimes the notification, it take them a minute to get them. And sometimes, I've heard people say that they've had to log on and just see me on, right? Because Facebook is not sending out the notifications as they should. Okay. Okay, you guys. Alrighty. Of course, we know that. Hold on. The officers in the Tyre Nichols case, right? Of course, we know what happened to Tyre Nichols, a young man, was, brutally beaten by Memphis police officers. A savage in the building. I see you, savage. Was brutally beaten by, I grew up with one of them officers' brothers used to go over their house after school. I'm shocked. Wow. Of course, we know what happened to Tyre Nichols, you guys, back in, I believe it was back in December. It was definitely a tragedy. It has brought out a lot of, protesters and things of that nature in Memphis. Hey, Lady Red. A lot of protesters and things of that nature in the Memphis area. People are working actively. Those who are protesters, those who are, I guess you could call them leaders around the Memphis area, especially some of the young leaders. I know a couple of them like Cassio, Frank Gotti. I feel like they are actively working as to, and it not just with Tyre, even when things of this nature has gone on before, out there with boots on the ground to try and see what they can get done about police brutality, about injustices, especially around the Mid-South area. The Memphis, Mississippi, and Arkansas will be considered the Mid-South area, okay? And so there are a lot of people, quite a few people that have been actively trying to do some things. Tyrese was killed. He was beaten. It was inhumane in nature, definitely extremely heinous. Those officers were immediately fired and they, put in jail as they should have been. As of course, y'all know, we saw the video. It was very disturbing to me how somebody could do another human being like that, especially officers that had taken the oath, right? To protect and serve. Instead, they were out there acting as savages, right? They were out there acting as criminals. And so they went to court today. And I want to show that they pleaded not guilty. Okay. They pleaded not guilty.
Smith, Charles Summers, we entered wait for reading the indictment and then pleaded not guilty on behalf of Mr. Smith.
Morning, Judge. On behalf of Mr. Mills, we waive for reading of the indictment. This is a not guilty plea.
Gentlemen, each of your attorneys have entered pleas of not guilty on your behalf. Understand that despite everyone's best effort, this case may take some time. Your attorneys are going to be receiving the discovery. Depending on how voluminous the discovery is, it may take some time for the state to collect it all, turn it over to your attorneys, for your attorneys to review that discovery, to prepare their motions and prepare their case. So be patient. Work with your attorneys, cooperate with them, meet with them, go over the discovery. Make sure that if there are any delays, that these delays aren't on account of any of your actions. To those also in attendance, as I've explained to the defendants, this case can take some time. So we do ask for your patience, your continued patience, your continued civility in this case. We understand that there may be some high emotions in this case, but we ask that you continue to be patient with us. Everyone involved wants this case to be concluded as quickly as possible, but it's important for you all to understand that the state of Tennessee, as well as each one of these defendants, have an absolute right to a fair trial, and I will not allow any behavior that could jeopardize that right. So with that being said, we thank you all for being present. State, understanding that there may be some discovery that needs to be collected, we are going to continue this case out a little bit further to make sure that discovery is concluded. We're going to reset this matter until May 1st, 9 a.m. State, is there anything else?
Your Honor, the only other thing on behalf of the state is I have a protective order as to each of the defendants to allow certain digital discovery video evidence to be provided.
Any objection by any of them?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Massey, is there anything else on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, we did file our motion for discovery this morning.
All right, Mr. Ballin, anything on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Perry?
No, Your Honor, but we did file a motion for guilt particulars pursuant to Rule 7C, Tennessee Rules of Criminal Procedure.
Mr. Stengel, anything on?
Nothing further this morning, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Summers?
Nothing further on behalf of Mr. Smith, Mayor.
All right, gentlemen, we will see you back here May 1st on that day. And we will now excuse the defendants and their defense counsel. We're asking everyone else in the courtroom to remain in the courtroom and remain seated until you're excused.
Okay, you guys. Let's see.
And Attorney Van Turner, who's also the president of the NAACP chapter here in Memphis, Tennessee. Kareem Ali, my investigator, and our legal team. We have the honor of representing the family of Tyre Nichols. Present with us is his family members, in particularly his mother, Rovon Wells, and his father, Rodney Wells, who will give very brief statements this morning in the aftermath of the arraignment of the 5 officers that have been indicted for the murder of Tyre Nichols. Also, it's important to note that this was very emotional, and there were a lot of things that were not said in the courtroom today in the proceeding, but it was a very informative day as we move closer to justice. And our legal team and the family of Tyre Nichols wish to express gratitude to District Attorney Steve Mulroy, Paul Hagerman, and the entire District Attorney's team, who is charged with prosecuting this matter on behalf of Tyre Nichols, as they do with every citizen in this jurisdiction. We are again relieved that they have given information to try to dispel some of these rumors and innuendo that we keep being bombarded about, that somehow this was something personal. No, we are aware that there were photographs that were taken and none of them were sent to all of these rumors that are out there in the social media world. The family is dealing with enough
I'm glad that he's
grieving the death of
clarifying that. It
Tyre
wasn't mistaken
and their brave fight for justice than to have to deal with all these salacious rumors. I know in George Floyd, they had to deal with them talking about Chauvin knew somebody who George Floyd knew, and that was the reason he kept his knee on his neck. And then in Botham Jean's case, who was killed in the apartment by the white policewoman, they alleged that they were having some kind of affair, which all were bogus and untrue. And just like with Tyre Nichols, all these rumors that are circulating are bogus and untrue, because we have the text messages. The prosecutors have been able to verify exactly who those pictures were sent to. And so what we want to remain laser focused on is getting justice for Tyre Nichols and being able to define the legacy of Tyre Nichols. And the people who are most appropriate to do that is his mother and their family. So you're going to hear from Rodney Wells, and then we're going to introduce Miss Rovon Wells to talk about how they felt and why they had to be here today for this arraignment of the former Memphis police officers who are charged with murdering Tyre Nichols. And I think it's important to note that even though we want everybody to get due process, we are champions for equal justice and due process. But as Police Chief Davis said, Judge Doyce, It's important that we take swift action. It's important that we move swiftly towards justice. So we don't want there to be any unnecessary delays in prosecuting this case with respect to everybody having their day in court. Those officers get to have their day in court, but my God, Ravon Wells and Rodney Wells get to have their day in court, and we don't want this to be forever. We got video. When people in our community do something on video, it don't take a long time to prosecute them, right, Attorney Turner?
That's right.
It don't take a long time. And so first you will hear from Mr. Rodney Wells, the father of Tyre Nichols.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rodney Wells. I had to be here today to make sure that justice gets done for our son. This is a glorious day. This is the beginning of the process. So, the statement's going to be very short, and I'm just glad to be here. Our family's glad to be here, and I appreciate everybody coming out.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. And now you will hear from Tyree's mother, Miss Ravon Wells.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. As my husband stated, this is the beginning of the process. We're going to be here at every court date so that they can know that we're here. They need to, I don't know. I feel, it's funny because I feel very numb right now. I feel very numb, and I'm waiting for this nightmare basically that I'm going through right now. I'm waiting for somebody to wake me up, right? I'm really waiting for somebody to wake me up. But I also know that's not going to happen, okay? I know my son is gone. I know I'll never see him again. But we have to start this process of justice right now. And I want each and every one of those police officers to be able to look me in the face. They haven't done that yet. They couldn't even do that today. They didn't even have the courage to look at me in my face after what they did to my son. So they're going to see me at every court date, everyone.
Exactly.
And until we get justice for my son.
Amen. Hello.
And so, yes.
And note the choice of words that Ravon used as she told Judge Dorsey and us, they didn't have the courage to look me in my face. Not dignity to look me in my face, because when you look at the video, there was no dignity there. But they didn't even have the courage to look at her in the face. And that's what she came to the courtroom to see today. Them look her in her face, eye to eye. How could you do this to my son?
And they didn't.
Okay.
What did you think?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Ben Crump.
All right.
Ben
We'll take a
Crump
few
on-
questions.
What did you think when you heard the words?
They're not gonna shut his mama
Well,
while
sir,
she's talking.
They're going to say that. You know, that's a procedure that everyone's going to say and do. I'm going to leave it up to the district attorney's office and to get them prosecuted and everything, and then they'll find them not guilty. They'll find them guilty, I should say. So them saying they're not guilty, that's a preliminary thing. Everybody's going to say that. And I was expecting it, so it wasn't nothing new.
Judge Ernestine Dorsey is going to make some remarks before we continue the questions. Judge Dorsey says,
retired Judge Ernestine Hunt Dorsey, and let's not get me out of place, because I want you to know that the process is the process, and I'm about transparency. So that's the first thing I had to tell you. I was retired, but it's good to see the country and the state still interested in what's happening in our community, and especially in the prosecution of this case. because this case is the case that's pretty much going to be a cornerstone. You know, when the builders start rejecting stones, but this is going to be a cornerstone that the builders would not be able to reject. So that is what I see. And the process is.
Yeah.
Can you lay out what you think the next year will be in terms of this case? So the next hearing is in May. And then what is the next?
Well,
I can only do it. I mean, I've been a trial lawyer, and I can tell you the process. It's not as swift. It's not as swift as the indictment, but the indictment was the most important thing to get the wheels of justice to truly roll. And so this is going to be processed, and it's not necessarily going to be held up by trying to slow the process.
Thank you,
it's just how time is. And so most criminal cases don't come to trial, and I'm assuming this is going to go to trial. That can't tell you how long, but it's not going to be at the end of this year.
Steve, we know, like in George Floyd's case and Ahmaud Arbery's case, that there may be federal charges brought here. And so we want there to be full justice. And so as we look at the process on the state, we understand, just like in George Floyd, there may be federal charges contemplated that may be announced, and then they would take a parallel course. But we know in George Floyd tragic killing that those officers were prosecuted within the year. Yeah. So the hope is that we have a blueprint going forward on all these tragedies. Before we take any other questions, Attorney Van Turner, would you like to give a remark?
Yeah. We again want to thank Ms. Robon Wells for her courage, Mr. Rodney Wells for his courage. It takes a lot to sit there in the courtroom and to face individuals who took actions that they did not have to take. Nothing that evening that we saw, that you saw, provoked them to do what they did to Tyre Nichols. And here we have a family, we have a son that's lost a father, and we just we feel their pain, and we're going to be here with them throughout the way. But let's also understand that this case is going to be a landmark decision, but it also needs to lead to policy. How do we stop this from happening again?
Absolutely.
The state needs to pass the Tyre Nichols Police Reform Act.
Amen.
We need the governor to sign the bill. The governor, Bill Lee, needs to stand up for this family. We want the thoughts, we want the prayers, but we want action.
Amen.
We want this bill passed right now.
Absolutely.
The Tyre Nichols Police Reform Act. We want them to withdraw the bill to get rid of clerk. The Citizen Law Enforcement Review Board is what we have. That's the citizens' eyes over law enforcement. The police can't continue to police themselves.
Yes.
So if we are really serious about justice for Tyre, we want to make sure that there's a swift prosecution and that these guys serve the time for what they did. And we want to make sure that there's swift action at the Tennessee legislature with passing this bill. And we want them to immediately withdraw the bill that would undo clerk right now, today. Yes. We want them to withdraw that bill because that's the citizens' eyes over law enforcement. We're going to continue to pray for this family, and we're going to continue to say justice for Tyre.
Justice for Tyre.
Thank you so much, President Turner, for your leadership.
Okay, you guys, before we get into the commentating, I want to show y'all just one more thing. We want to see what the defendant's attorneys has to say, okay? It's something, because this attorney right here is, he was an attorney in the Cheryl Rice case, okay?
We're just in the courtroom. I think he's talking to one of the attorneys.
Yeah, how is he doing, and how are you prepared to defend him?
Well, I mean, starting out with the notion that he's innocent until proven guilty, which is a rubric of our society in this country, number one. Number two, I know that there's been a lot of statements about Mr. Bean in the press over the last, month, and a lot of those statements are misleading about the person that he is. Mr. Bean has been nothing but a respectful, a good young man throughout his life. And on that particular night, you look at an isolated incident and try to measure the person. And so there are a lot of statements about him as a person that are just flat out untrue. And you look at the level of involvement of each individual defendant. And in that particular case, he was doing his job, no more, no less. He never struck anybody. He never did anything other than his job. Right now, we're in a posture that I've never seen a person charged before anybody knows the cause of death. There's no definitive information regarding cause of death at all. And so we got 5 individuals charged with murder. I represent 1. And it's an honor because at this point in time, I've never seen people jump to conclusions about an isolated part of a 2-minute excerpt about what was supposed to have happened on a particular night. And I stand by the notion that right now, due process in this matter has not taken place properly. There should be justice for Tyre Nichols, absolutely. But I also stand by the fact that I am going to demand justice for Tadarius Bean.
Has Mr. Bean made any statement to you? Written any statement? We heard from Mr.
Bean
from Mr. Ballin. His client wrote a statement. Has your client wrote a statement?
We've gone through a lot of information. There was a lot of information given on the front end during the time that when he was an active police officer and they were doing their inquiries at that time. There was certain information that was gleaned from my understanding administratively, but there's been no follow-up statements as of right now.
So what in that video tells us that your client, Tadarius Bean, is innocent?
Tadarius Bean, according to the video, was seen apprehending a person after.
Every last one of them beating their mind.
Yeah.
That's murder.
Carry on, sir.
See, like we said, we saw the same thing.
What in that video
Cassio.
tells us that your client,
That's Cassio in the background.
Say that once again. I can't hear it because you got people that are part of the press that are saying things.
We've all seen the video.
What in that video tells us that your client,
Tadarius Bean,
Tadarius Bean never touched him in any way, striking him. Period. Tadarius Bean has the ability as a law enforcement officer to make a lawful arrest based off of a call coming in. And so at this time, that's where we're standing right now. That Tadarius Bean was doing his job at that time, and he never struck him. And there has been no information that we have seen as of right now that indicates that there's any sort of information that we can rely on to say that.
Why didn't he intervene? Why didn't he intervene and stop his colleagues beating a man to death?
I think you hear his voice consistently saying, "Sit up, man, so you can get air," etc., and things like that. I think you hear him consistently saying that. And Tadarius Bean at no point in time did anything that would be different from a person who's doing his job.
He didn't stop his colleagues killing a man, though.
I'm sorry.
He didn't stop his colleagues killing a man.
Cassio intimidated.
Why didn't he intervene and say enough? Stop.
Right. I want to hear your answer that.
I want to hear.
That's his duty as a police officer.
I'm gonna do something rare. Have you ever made an arrest?
Nope.
Have you ever jumped out of a car trying to apprehend somebody who you think might have committed a carjacking, a robbery, a rape, a kidnapping? Have you ever done that?
I've never stood by and let one of my colleagues kill a man.
And if a person gets called on a scene, you have a duty as a police officer to respond. If you're not on that, and to be absolutely clear, Mr. Bean was not. Mr. Bean was not on the first scene, so we don't know what happened.
Does Mr. Bean regret any of his actions that night?
I'm sorry?
Does he regret any of his actions that night?
I think at this point, he probably regrets being a Memphis police officer on that night, because had he not been, he wouldn't have been called to do his job.
Is there anything he'd like to say to the family of Tyre Nichols today?
I won't say what Mr. Bean says regarding the family. I will say that from my heart regarding the family, anytime you have a young man that dies, it's sad, and it's a horrible thing, and we don't want that to happen. So, but as far as where we are as of right now, we're trying to see whether or not a person can get justice the way that anybody else can. And that's my job. I think at the time that at the conclusion of making the arrest, from my understanding, there were people that were on the scene that are professional health renderers, from my understanding. So to say that, yes, ma'am, I watched the video. Go ahead.
Have you seen all of the video?
I've seen the. I have.
Okay, so how many hours is it? Have they turned everything over?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I could.
DA Mulroy has said that there's 20 hours essentially of video. Have you seen all of that?
No, nobody's seen it. We'll see it at the same time.
Will you put in a motion to preserve all of the video from the route?
Right, we want that. Yes, we're joining that motion. I think one has been filed.
You're going to join that motion. How much more video do you think can be collected? Obviously, it's video that could possibly tell more of this story of this chase on foot between Tyre Nichols and the 5 officers, or at least 2 or 3 of those officers. Do we know if your client, Mr. Bean, was one of the officers chasing after Tyre Nichols on foot?
I apologize. I just can't hear the whole question. I'm sorry. Just say it one more time.
Do we know if your client, Mr. Tadarius Bean, is one of the officers possibly chasing Tyre Nichols on foot?
Oh, during the second scene. My client is on the second scene.
Right. But when going to the second scene, do we know if he's one of the officers chasing?
Not going to the second scene, but at the second scene, yes, he's doing his job.
Okay, so
there's a suggestion that there's a connection somehow between Tyre Nichols and the officers involved, that they knew each other, and there was a reason why those officers might have wanted to inflict violence on Tyre Nichols.
Yeah,
There are
I'm
rumors. Can you
gonna call
comment on that?
Cassio today
I
and
haven't
see
seen
if he'll
anything
come
to
on.
suggest any truth to any of that at all. Period. I haven't seen any of that.
What's your name, sir?
John Keith Perry.
John Keith Perry, and you represent Tadarius Bean.
Yes, sir.
Thanks very much.
Right. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Lord have mercy. Cassio was giving that guy pure D hell. That lawyer was so worked up. But you have to understand why some sicko twist this. She taking up for them lawyers. That lawyer just doing his job, right? Every defense attorney is gonna say that their client didn't do nothing because that's what they paid to do. That's what we seeing in the Young Doss case. Those defense attorneys, they pleaded not guilty. So, but hey, but it was definitely murder. But Cassio, that's a really good friend of mine. And I was just speaking about Cassio right before I got into the videos. I was like, he's like one of the ones that's got boots on the ground in Memphis. He's one of the younger activists that's really strong. I really love Cassio a lot because he just go head on. He's just one of those ones that was out in the street and that's kind of turned his life around, and that's out there whenever there's any type of injustice, whenever there's a killing. The thing that I love about Cassio is whether it's a police murder or just black on black crime, Cassio is out there in the street. If it's some type of child abuse or anything as it relates to that, he's out there. Like, we have this thing, like for me, like when there is an election, I understand. I am with this little group in Memphis that vets, to try and vet politicians. Whenever I call Cassio and Frank Gotti, because I understand in order, because see, I truly love Memphis. I wouldn't care what somebody that don't know me say. I love Memphis. I was born and raised in Memphis. Okay. And I see what goes on in Memphis every day, as far as like the hijacking that the politicians do. I've been screaming about that on my show, my TV show, for 9 years. Y'all, we got to get rid of these politicians, white or black. And see, a lot of people, as it relates to CJ Davis, we was talking about this morning when folks are saying, well, ain't nobody saying nothing about CJ Davis. If you don't live in Memphis, you don't know, right? You can't judge a Memphian and you don't live in Memphis, right? We understand in Memphis, even the thugs out there in the street understand in Memphis that CJ Davis don't run nothing. Y'all know whose neck we be at? We be at the neck of the mayor because we understand it is Jim Strickland. CJ Davis couldn't do nothing without his approval. So when people say, well, you sure did interview Jim Strickland, you're damn right I interviewed him. I had him right over there in my studio because the city of Memphis that I love so much need answers. We need to understand why it's so much crime out there. We need to understand why he's the mayor and he barely does interviews. We need to understand that. We need to understand why we don't have the summer programs for the kids anymore. The citizens of Memphis, the people that live in Memphis and love the city of Memphis, they want me to interview these politicians and put their feet to the fire. And that's exactly what I've been doing for 9 years. No motherfucker could ever take that from me. Me, my dad, anybody. And so I know I be quiet sometimes. I just let folks have it because this right here is about views. Okay? But when your heart is in something, when you got reading programs, when you teaching the people in the city how to read, when you helping them to get their GED, when you been out there, when you been on TV for 9 years, keeping people informed, showing them and getting people on there, showing them how they can get assistance. That's what I've been doing. Nobody could ever take that from me for a view. Okay? So when people get on here and try to say, well, you know, she don't care nothing about the city of Memphis because, you know, she ain't said nothing about them polices. Let me break that down for you. Let me go ahead and break that down. And then we're going to get into Tyre. Let me just say this, okay? As I was saying before, we understand that CJ Davis is just a figurehead. I said that from the beginning. When CJ Davis was first put into office, Memphis was in an uproar, because there were other people that was more qualified than CJ Davis. Okay? There were other people more qualified than CJ Davis. Hell, we got Van Turner standing right up there next to Ben Crump. But hell, I think he was one of the city councils or one of the commissioners or whatever that approved for her to be here. Right? So when people get to talking, and I'm looking at some of these politicians that's standing up there next to Ben Crump that has been in office that I've been watching, I go, she just for them polices. No, bitch, you don't know me. I understand that some of them that's standing up there ain't no good. You ain't from Memphis. You don't give a damn about Memphis, so you wouldn't know that. But I do. Okay? So what? We get Jim Strickland. We finally get him out the office and hold his feet to the fire. Mr. Mayor, why is the people of city of Memphis is so impoverished? We know that poverty ignites crime. What you gonna do about that? He want to lay it at the feet of everybody else. See, I ain't never been no damn fool. I was taught by the best, and that was my damn daddy. Okay, who's in politics? Okay. So when people say, well, it's CJ Davis' fault, well, I'm gonna take it. I understand the chains of command. A lot of people don't know that. So when I start saying, well, this is the chain of command right here, if we're gonna blame her, we got to go through this one that had direct contact, which is the sergeant that had first line contact. Then we go through the lieutenant. We got to go through all them channels to see where the ball was dropped at. Don't nobody want to hear that, because it's all about a like and a view. It's all about trying to defame somebody's character. And my stance ain't gonna change. Because I love the city of Memphis. That's why I'm out there in the street. That's why Cassio and them know me. And that's why they over there in my damn office every time there's getting ready to be an election. What we gonna do? How we gonna vet them? Because that's what I do for the city of Memphis, right? Because I understand we got to have the right type of leadership in order for the city to progress. If you don't give a damn about the city, you just want to hijack it. You don't care nothing about that. But I've been doing it for 9 years. I don't get on here and say that, but I bet you them folks on Comcast know. I bet you the people that's around the Mid-South area that I got my TV show on Comcast know that. It ain't just my gospel show. They're going to say she done had every politician in Memphis in her studio, and she holds their damn feet to the fire and on her radio show. Okay. So when people get on here and say, well, she just trying to protect, I can't protect no police. I got on here from day one and said that those 5 officers was wrong and they got to be prosecuted. Where they at? They in court. What else was that? Well, it's just the Memphis Police Department as a whole. No, it ain't. I work for Memphis Police Department. I worked for the police department for 20 damn years. I got aunties that work there, cousins that work down there, and friends that I still hang out with that's working down there. I know damn well everybody on that department ain't the same because I can't deal with no low down folks. I don't deal with scamming ass, low down ass people. I wouldn't care what their title is. Okay? So what, are they bad officers? Hell yeah. Should they be charged? I said that from the beginning. What they did to him was heinous in nature. It was heinous. And they need to be prosecuted to the extent. Okay? But people want to control you, but it's all about a like and a view. Okay? I understand it's about trying to destroy somebody else's credibility because a lot of people used to coming up off the backs of somebody else. That's not how I roll. I don't get down like that. That's the reason why I say I ain't get ready to be in no beefs with nobody. Not on no YouTube. I got a life outside of YouTube, and my life is helping people in the city of Memphis. People don't know the volunteer shit that I do, but I bet Cassio and them know it. That's why they mess with me. Them street dudes that have turned activists. When I say there's a meeting at my office, they gonna be in my office, and they will get on here and confirm that because I'm gonna have them on here. Okay, we're gonna vet this politician. We got to get this politician out because they stealing from the city of Memphis. We got to do this. That's what I do for my motherfucking city. Okay. CJ Davis. People in Memphis ain't talking about no damn CJ Davis. Because everybody in Memphis knows CJ Davis ain't got no damn power. They understand where the power come from. That she's there just to be a figurehead. It starts with Jim Strickland on up. And them power brokers. What I've been talking about, me and my daddy, for the last 9 years. Okay? The same thing the citizens of Memphis is talking about. They might say, yeah, she never should have been here, hell, because she don't run nothing. We know she don't run nothing. So why you think I went straight to Jim Strickland and not her? I got his ass over there because when you live in a city your whole life, you already know where the power come from. This was engineered. Jim Strickland was a piss poor, I don't mean no harm. He was a piss poor city council. They started this shit when he was in the city council. Stripping folks of this, stripping the city of that. And so that's why when I see some of these politicians next to being Crump, I go, well, damn, you know, they've been in office all this time and they voted against this. They voted against that for our kids. They ain't never did nothing but hijack the city. So that's why I can get on here with anger and say, ain't none of them shit. Nobody can tell me about a city I've been living in my whole life. Even though I might be on the outskirts right now, it's still my city. So those police officers, what they did was wrong. And my stance ain't gonna change. Them niggas got to be, they acted as if they were thugs. Okay? And so they got to be prosecuted to the fullest. That lawyer, them defense attorneys got on there and did what they paid to do. My client ain't guilty. What defense attorney have you ever heard get on the news, especially in a high profile case, and say, yeah, my client is guilty? Not now. And so people will try to give folks emotion. You see them people in Memphis, let them lawyers say that them folks weren't guilty. What the hell are you talking about? That's due process. That's in anywhere, all over the world. But Tyre needs to have some justice. And so even when I find myself thinking about being Crump, and people go, well, he's, he just only come around for high profile cases, and that might be true. But if Ben Crump gets the attention of those that need to be guided so stuff like this can change, then hey, more power to Ben Crump. Okay? More power to him, because attention needs to be brought to stuff like this. Okay? I said from the start, I said, y'all, because see what people do is, and a lot of them be trolls. What they do is they'll come into my chat and they'll say, well, ain't you gonna say something about the Memphis Police Department? See, I'm highly intelligent. Well, yeah, those officers that did that was wrong. What now? What about the whole police department? Motherfucker, the whole police department went out there, so I don't know what you're talking about. We're gonna deal with those officers that was out there. Okay. Well, you don't want to say nothing about the whole police department and CJ Davis. Bitch, you living in Timbuktu. How you gonna tell me when the citizens of Memphis, they ain't concerned about CJ Davis, because we know she don't run a damn thing. She was put there to be a bobblehead. We knew that. I said that from damn day one, because I know she was. She ain't running nothing. She doing what they tell her to do. She was put there because she knows how to pander to the media. She would be somebody that's easy to control. Hell, everybody in Memphis knew that. There was other people that was more qualified for the position, but Jim Strickland is the mayor. He gave who he wanted to give the job to because he can control it. He's never been really about the city. Okay? And so people try to take that when they want to ruin your credibility, because it's just too many backstabbing folks. She said she don't care about Memphis. She said she loved. That's why I say, yeah, I love them police, but I just be saying that because I don't love not now crooked police. Not in Memphis, not in Texas, not in Indiana, not in Missouri, not in California, not in Arkansas, not in Mississippi, not nowhere. Not now crooked police. But I'ma still be out there with boots on the ground for a city that I was born and raised in. Why y'all think I get on here with so much passion as it relates to Young Dolph? People get mad at me because I know what's really going on with Young Dolph. It's Young Dolph says it's been a plenty of times I've had to call Cassio, and I go, oh, Cassio. He go, Tamara, you can't feel bad now. I know you got a heart for this city and these little dudes in this city, but they got to pay for that. What they shouldn't have did that to Dolph, but I know you've always been working with the youth. Y'all don't know what I know about this motherfucking case, and no, don't get me started. Okay? So when I get on here, I'm not gonna pander to nobody. I'm not gonna make up nothing because it's important to me. Because what they did to Young Dolph was heinous too. You go shoot somebody down in a damn cookie shop. So that's why when people say, well, you stay on the necks of Gotti and them and that Big Juke them, because I understand it came from the very top and it trickled down. Okay? And you have to stay on the necks of the people that's constantly ruining a city that you truly love. Because, I pay taxes in Memphis. My business is in Memphis. I get out and I do volunteer work in Memphis and in Mississippi. And we get ready to start doing some stuff in Arkansas. When your heart is in stuff, you don't give a damn about a view. But it pisses me off when you know what you do and some gutter motherfucker come and try and destroy your credibility for subscribers and views. That's demonic and evil on a whole nother level. Okay? And so I had my mama ain't on here today, but I had my mama on here yesterday. And I was telling my mama some stuff because people don't know what you go through. She said, don't address that. I'm going into the spiritual realm on that one because that's a demon right there. I can see it all in their eyes. But I got up at 5 a.m. And so it's a lot of stuff I just won't address no more. But I can tell you this, I ain't getting no beef with nobody. It ain't that important to me because I'm really boots on the ground for real. And anybody around the city that know can verify that. The meetings be in my damn studio and office. Okay? Getting people registered to vote and things of that nature. We spearhead stuff like that. Because we truly care about the city of Memphis. And so what those officers did to Tyre, it was heinous and it was embarrassing. They was wrong. And they're going to be convicted. They're not getting off with that. Okay? But it still does not change what I feel initially. There are people that I know, hell, I worked for the police department. I went through the academy. My heart was to protect and serve. But God had other plans for me. Okay? So that's why I know everybody is just not the same. But as far as those officers go, because I'd be a damn fool to sit up and group everybody on here as being the same. I can't do that because I know each individual is different. I don't care what their profession is. Everybody different. That's just like stereotyping all black people. They lazy, they dumb, they this, they that. I'd be a damn fool. But those black officers got to pay for what they did to that black man. And it's a damn shame. It goes back to what I say about our people. It would have been bad if it was white officers. But it's a damn shame that these black men could take the power that they had, the little power that they had, and go out there and beat another black man to a pup like that and then let him lay there and die. And so I don't stand behind nothing like that. I don't. Because I'm a human being and I have human feelings. I don't care what their profession is. If they had not been police officers, I would still feel the same way. They got to be prosecuted. Okay? And so the thing that bothers me with our people is that I hear people say, well, you know, they got to be prosecuted, them police is. But what if they weren't police officers? Would you feel the same way? Because it don't change the fact if it was Tyre and if it wasn't police officers and a bunch of gang members that was out there beating him like that, would you feel the same way? That's when I say we have to change our mindset, because see, I would feel the same way whether it was police officers or not, because Tyre didn't deserve that. He was a human being. And so that's where people lose me at when they go, well, you know, I go, well, what, you know, hey, when I hear some of the same people that jump their ass in my comments or up on my panel sometimes, and I'll sit up and say, you know, well, young Dolph was out in the street. You know how it is when you in the street. You get how you live. You know, well, you know, that's that street justice. You know, I don't want to put the police really ain't got no business in there, because, you know, young Dolph was out in the street. Young Dolph was a motherfucking human being. What are you talking about? And so you see some of these same lame ass folks sitting up hollering about get the police, it says, that's sitting up saying that, hey, young Dolph got it how he lived. That's evil on a whole nother level. When young Dolph and Tyre were two damn black men that were human beings, and neither one of them deserved it. Okay? Neither one of them deserved it. And so that's when I started saying, when people get mad, when they say, well, you know, hey, them police should just be, I can't protect no damn police. I ain't got the power to protect no police. Hell, the police got their own media people that y'all see in front of the media sometimes. Hell, they don't need me. But I understand that's what people try to do when they want to try to ruin your credibility, when they're jealous of you. Okay? Okay? Or when they want to try to pull you into a beef because that's how they get views. I'd rather not have a view if I got a beef, because that's just too low. That's just too low on the totem pole for me. I ain't getting into no damn beefs. I'm gonna put my lawyer on you if you slander me. That's how I'm gonna do it. I can't do that. I'm not gonna get on here to beef. So when people say, well, you know, these passion, yeah, I sure got a lot of passion. I sure do. Because I sure love the city I grew up in. And it sure hurts me to see what I've been seeing. Because our Memphis is in a state of emergency. Nobody could ever tell me that a city that they was born and raised in, they ain't got no love for, they ain't got no connection to. They can't tell me that they don't. Even if they want to move from the city, they're going to always have a love and a connection to the city. I have a love and a connection to Memphis. And it hurts me to see what I've been seeing. People getting hijacked. What's happening to the kids? Folks getting slaughtered. Old women getting raped. And then you see some of these politicians and people go, well, she just want to take up her the police. Hell no. When you see me going in on some of these politicians, it's because I done lived in the city damn near my whole life. And I'm looking at a damn politician that I know helped to make the city bad like it is, because they was hijacking the damn city. If you ain't from Memphis, you wouldn't know that. Okay? But those officers pleaded not guilty. Hell, we knew that was going to happen. It's interesting. Tyre's mother said she wanted them to give her eye contact. Wanted them to give her eye contact. They couldn't even look at her eye to eye. You can't look at somebody eye to eye when you know damn well you killed that woman's child for no reason at all. It wasn't no mistaken identity. Everybody in Memphis know that. Ben Crump just confirmed that. It had nothing to do with anything at this point other than them. Hey, them damn officers was just ignorant. Now, it might have been some underlying stuff going on. I'm not going to say it didn't have nothing to do. You know, Ben Crump said it ain't had nothing to do with no woman. But I just have to lay it at the feet of their character, and that's just being absolutely evil. Just being evil. Because there's no way in the world that they should have ever beat a human being like that. And then just let him lay up there and die like he was nothing. And every time you hear Tyre's mother, every time I hear her, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Because that's a mother that had carried a child for 9 months. And every time she talk about a child, you can hear the pain in her voice and the crackiness in her voice. And it breaks my heart that only another mother could understand. Okay? So what those officers did, they need to be prosecuted. They ain't going to get off. I just don't believe that they are, because it's too many people watching to make sure that they're not going to get off. So when people start talking about Al Sharpton has been a activist for, I don't know, 100 years. Hell, ain't he about 100? And he never did a damn thing but get for the black people. We only seen him. We only see him. Okay. We only see him. Okay. When it is a high profile case. When it's a high profile case. But you know, you have people like Cassio in them who are young activists that are brave. One of the things that had always, and I like Frank Gotti too. Okay. I like Frank Gotti too, but one of the things that I truly had always loved, Cassio was always very vocal, just like he was, and he's very serious. He's one of the up and coming leaders. And so whenever I'm on my TV show and I'm trying to get people out of the mindset of, y'all, we can't just keep voting for people just on name recognition, because as Black people, we got that bad. We can't just vote for people because they're Black or just because of name recognition. We got to vet these people. That's why I have them on my show. And every time I get ready to have a politician on my TV show, I say to my audience, now I want y'all to text me and send me questions of what y'all want me to ask these politicians, because they work for the city of Memphis. We don't just elect them and let them sit there and do nothing. We have to watch them. Okay? And so, when people get said, well, she had Jim Strickland, you damn right, he the mayor. I'm supposed to have him on my show. I'm supposed to. The city of Memphis, if they want him on my show, I'm going to have him on my show. Because they deserve to know what he's thinking and why things are like they are. Okay? But we understood, okay, that CJ Davis, okay, and I don't be wanting to even really talk bad about a sister, but I understood from day one that CJ Davis, why she, because I watched the process. I'm born and raised. I watched the process. They had interviews going on for months. And it was a lot of viable candidates. There's a white lady from out of California who had worked with the FBI, who I felt like would have been a good candidate. And you know why? That's just if they wanted a lady, because I don't care if they white or Black. See, we get caught up in that white and Black stuff. I don't care if they green. You're going to have to stop some of this crime. Because, see, I think about the bottom line. What is the bottom line? Are you going to help stop this crime? That's it. I don't care nothing about your race. I don't get caught up in stuff like that. That's how they get Black folks emotional. Okay? And I had did my background on her. I said, well, one of the reasons that she was because she went on to be like a police commissioner or something, and they had kind of kicked her out because there was a lot of corruption going on with the city council and stuff. And she brought attention to it, and they fired her. I was looking at her background. I said, she's worked with the FBI. She would have been good if they just wanted somebody from the outside of Memphis. That he interviewed her. I guess she wasn't good enough. Sam Hines is a chief down there right now. I love Sam Hines to death. A lot of people in Memphis wanted Sam Hines. He's military. Sam Hines been on the police department for over 30 years. He would have been a good director. After proceeding, he as a matter of fact, I believe that's who Mike Rawlins would have preferred to precede him. He didn't want Sam Hines because Sam Hines is a stand-up guy. He's not a bobblehead. He never has been. He's always been military, and he's always stood on business. So, I guess he felt like, I can't control Sam Hines. So, I can't do nothing with that. I'm talking about Jim Strickland. Okay. So then they interviewed all these other people. I believe a police chief from Arizona and one from Dallas. And then they closed the process. Right. So once they had a certain amount of time to apply for the job, CJ Davis did not apply for the damn job. That's how we knew it was some shit on the line. She didn't apply for it in the beginning. So we was like, we wonder who's going to. Mike Rawlins stayed on, I believe, a little bit longer until they found somebody. I told y'all Mike Rawlins and I are very good friends even now. I love him. Okay. And he did destroy the city. Okay. I'm Strickland. And so when CJ Davis, so then the process was closed, and we thinking, okay, well, he's gonna choose a police chief any day now. We was just waiting to see. We thought it was gonna be Sam Hines. You know, everybody really thought that it was going to be Sam Hines, that he was going to promote from within, right? Because he was the most qualified. So then all of a sudden he opens the process back up. I talked about it on my show. Thaddeus Matthews talked about it on his show. Some of the other local Memphians talked about it on their show. They said, we said, they doing something crooked. How in the world you gonna open the process back up after it's been closed and she did not apply just to interview one person? They didn't open it back up to interview an array of people. They opened the process. Y'all know when jobs close, they closed. But they opened the process, the interview process back up just to interview CJ Davis. And we knew at that point, we said, that's who he's going to choose. And he's only choosing her because him and those rich power brokers can control her. I said that. Okay? I said it on my show. Thaddeus said it on his show. And because people want to control you and push a narrative, because you don't get on here after you've been preaching it for years on your TV show and say, oh, she trying to cover for them police. I ain't never even met CJ Davis. Hell, I ain't no liar. I don't try to act like I know people that I don't know. If I was a capper, I would say, yeah, you know, I know CJ Davis. I told you I know Mike Rollins. That was the last one. And he stayed in my studio because I know him personally. Every event that I had for the kids, Mike Rollins came on his off day and he was up there at that event talking to them kids. That's the type of relationship that we had. I don't know nothing about CJ Davis, never met her. All I know is she's somebody that Jim Strickland has brought here, okay? And they brought her here so that they can control her. So the city of Memphis know that CJ Davis knew from day one she ain't running a damn thing. It's the mayor who hired her. She have to get everything approved through him. She can't do nothing without him saying it. It's the mayor and them rich power brokers with that long money in Memphis that's running the city of Memphis, and we know that. And so that's why people like Cassio and me and people that's truly care about Memphis, the younger generation, try to talk to the younger ones up under us and say, y'all got to go get registered and vote. That's why my dad started that, get registered to vote. Okay. That's why my dad had wanted to use his museum as a place for people to come in and get registered to vote. That's why we always preached about it. He got radio time and we had a radio show so we could talk about in the city of Memphis the importance of voting. That's what you do when you love a city. You want to educate the people on what to do to keep the city moving ahead. It ain't about protecting no damn police officers. Hell, I don't work for the police department. And when I take cases from the county, it ain't from the damn police department. It's from the damn DA's office. Okay? So I still ain't working for the city of Memphis. That's me taking contracts from the DA's office. Okay? So miss me with that. And even with all that being said, with them police officers, they asses they in court today, ain't it? They not on the police department. They in court. And they got to, so now instead of saying, well, them police says, because I be trying to educate folks. Lord knows I do. People get mad at me, but I be trying to tell you. If I work down there, damn it, I know. 20 years, y'all know damn well I know. It's out of the hand of the police. So now what you need to do is watch the prosecutor's office and make sure they got the right judge on the bench and he doing what he's supposed to do. Because it's out of the hands of the police and it's in the hands of the DA's office and the courts. Right? So when people say, well, them police ain't doing none of them, the motherfuckers done been to jail. What else could they do? It ain't in the hands when folks, what you think about that? They let the police let them back out. Not a goddamn thing, because the police ain't let them out. The police didn't let them out. The courts let them out. Learn about your governments before you get mad at me. before you listen to what somebody else say that's trying to defame my character. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. Because I don't need YouTube don't pay my bills. I get on here with a lot of passion, especially when I'm talking about stuff, because I'm a passionate person. And when you've been talking about something for 9 years on your TV show, and the people around Memphis can confirm that, you have a lot of passion. Okay? You have a lot of passion. Okay? Now, I'm going to carry on with my, let's talk about Tyre, because that's the most important thing. It hurts me to see Tyre's mother like that. Okay? It hurts me to see his mother like that. Tyre is no longer here with us, but we got to make sure that officers all around the world, just like Sandra Bland went to Texas and they killed that lady in Texas. They killed her. She was going just for a job. She was a teacher. I don't think it's been no justice for her down there in Texas. Just like the young man, I believe I can't think of his name, where the young man was sitting in the car and the police said, "Let me see your license." And he went to get his license and he shot him. It wasn't no justice for him. These were, I believe it was in Kansas or somewhere. These were in other states. This stuff got to stop. So now I ain't upholding nothing that's wrong. I never have. I never will. But I'm not going to let nobody make me feel guilty because they some motherfucking criminals and say, well, we don't need the police. Use a damn lie. Nigga, I worked for the police department for 20 years. I know we need them, but we need good ones. I know we need them when I'm sitting there and a young girl done walked up in there shaking because her dad had been having sex with her for years, since she's about 5 years old. A black man, that bitch need to be in jail. You damn right we need the police. See, it's people that do stuff like that. A lot of these criminals then set up shop on YouTube, but the feds is on their asses. Okay? So they don't want no police, and they think they're going to shame me and send their women out and they trolls out to come at me, but I stand strong. I always stood strong. Okay? I ain't going nowhere, and I'm going to speak the truth. Okay? If you don't like it, hey, I don't know what to tell you. But we need good police officers. If you seen what I seen for almost 20 years, you know damn well we need them. Okay? And I stand on that. But the 5 officers pleading not guilty, I mean, we knew that. Hell, we knew they was going to plead not guilty. They weren't going to get up in there. They wouldn't have had no lawyers if they was going to plead guilty. This is what happens in the court system all day, every day. But what we do have to do is make sure we watch and pay attention and make sure that we figure out who we need to hold feet to the fire. And make sure we do that so that there can be some justice in totality for Tyre. Now that we do need to do, so that no other police officer, since everybody's eyes is on Memphis, I'll say in Memphis, and it should be outside of Memphis also, okay, can feel comfortable in doing anything like this. And these same damn politicians that we seeing right now, this is our opportunity to say, you know what we want to make sure that we don't have no crooked police officers or no police officers out there killing black folks. But since you in the front of the damn media, you want to be a superstar. Let's talk about this black on black crime too, because black people are hurting. Our people are in a state of emergency all over the world. What are we gonna do about this poverty? How y'all gonna get who gonna sit at the table and figure out what we gonna do about this poverty? Because poverty ignites crime, because it's too much crime going on. What we gonna do about this poverty? Ain't nobody saying nothing about that. They do what is necessary to keep the Black people emotional, and then we don't get nothing out of it. Because if they don't deal with a lot of this poverty and these putting programs and stuff back in the schools and things of that nature, instead they constantly close the schools down in Memphis. It's still to no resolve. But ain't nobody, people get mad at me because I think like that. That's how I think. The people that know me know that's how I think. Okay? They know that's how I think. Ain't nothing changed. I got a big audience on Comcast. Those that got Comcast gonna be tuned in to Real Talk with Tamara. And you know the proof that they tune in to Real Talk with Tamara, I have to pay a whole lot of money to be on TV every damn month. You know how I pay for it? Through them advertisements. You know why they advertise with me? Because I got the views on TV. Because everybody in the Mid-South gonna be tuned in to my show. Because I've been passionate like this since I've been on, and they love it. Okay? They love it. So, with Tyre, justice for Tyre. Now, where do we go from here? Because this stuff can't keep happening. It's not good enough to just get us emotional, and then after a while, it just fizzles away. We need something written in stone. We need something concrete. And while you at it, what we gonna do about this poverty and Black on Black crime? Because it's way more of that. It's way more of that. And in the process, we need some reconstruction in the Black community. Because people feel comfortable with coming in and just doing anything to our people. It bothers me so bad. Everybody takes advantage of the Black community. You know why they do it? Because they know we hate each other. They know we hate each other. You don't see them going killing folks like that in the Asian community. You don't see white police officers killing other communities. You know why? Because they know there's going to be some repercussions. They look at us, they see we consistently killing each other. We don't give a damn about each other. We stab each other in the back. They know we're going to get emotional and go kick out a few windows, and then it's going to be back to business as usual. So when I get on here with passion, it's because I've been like this for now. YouTube is YouTube, and I enjoy y'all. But y'all, I got a TV show that I've been doing for 9 years. It's The Real TV. And I've been preaching this to my community. When I decided to come back to YouTube, I was saying that last night. Somebody reported my video, and it had to have been because my mother was on there praying in the spiritual. She was so bothered yesterday by some stuff I was telling her. She got on YouTube and was looking at somebody. And she said, I just went into the spiritual realm. That's an evil thing. Don't you dare say nothing. Because I got this one in the spiritual. Okay? And so somebody reported my video and had it taken down. That's what I'm talking about with the Black community. She thinks she's going to be great. Somebody was telling me, I believe it was one of my mods, Catalea. She said, Tam, T, because she's from around that DFW area. She said, T, their strategy is, it's a bunch of Black people in a sector. It's to wear you down until you get tired and leave. They feel like that's how they can control the sector. That's right, Blaine Fields, Comcast Channel 31. You already know it. Okay? But see, that's why people, other races and other communities do us like they do us. When you see the Africans come over here from Africa, we try to get mad at them because we go, well, the Africans think they better than us. But them Africans stick together. When have you ever known an African braiding shop or an African attire store to shut down? They don't shut down because they walk up into them stores. You see them in all types of African attires. When they go to get herbs and things of that nature, they go into the damn African store. I live around the Mississippi, Memphis area. I don't see Africans in Walmart and places like that. It's little African stores. When I need some herbs, I go in. They be right up in there patronizing them. They be right up in there buying the African attire. They go straight to each other to do the braids. You can't get mad at them because they ain't messed up. The American people are the ones messed up. Them Africans stick together. But with Black people, it is, if we can't destroy her credibility, we're going to try to help put a hit on her. And that's the reason why I went to the FBI on them bitches. And it's a damn shame when you got other women that would participate in trying to take another sister down that ain't never did a damn thing to them. Simply because they see the greatness on her life. That was already decided before I ever was even born. Those prayers was already sealed in heaven by grandmothers that I never even knew. And so that's why when my mama get on here and she said, I went up in the spiritual realm when I seen that demon. Don't you say nothing, because God got this one. I understood that was sealed. I ain't got to say nothing. And my lawyer gonna handle the rest of it if my name said. Okay? But it's a darn shame what we do to each other. Okay? And this ain't no play, because I don't get on here for no play. I ain't got no scripts. I don't know a damn thing about no damn scripts. Okay? This is me. And anybody that has ever seen me on TV gonna get on here and say that girl ain't reading for no damn script. Who said that? Somebody that don't know her? She been doing that for 9 years because we look at a TV show. So when I get on here and I'm passionate about Young Dolph, it is because I have a connection to the city that Young Dolph was killed in. It ain't just about like the views and the likes and stuff is good. But it's definitely a passion. That's why when I started getting into it, it ain't no play. I started getting mad a lot of times when I started talking about the Young Dolph's case. I got on here when Tyre, I saw that video of what they did to Tyre. I couldn't hold back the tears because I said, damn, that's a police department that I trained at. And these niggas gonna get out there and do that? That's evil. How could they do him like that? When you truly got a connection to something, it ain't about running no plays. It's gonna always be some passion. Okay? Always. Right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see what they do. Y'all, if y'all haven't hit the like button, y'all hit the like button. We're gonna see what they're gonna do and keep close eye on it as it relates to Tyre, to make sure that Tyre gets justice, because he deserves to have justice. I wouldn't care how their backgrounds look, those officers. We saw on video, okay, what they did. We saw on video what they did to him. I don't give a damn about no damn background. We was looking at what they did, and what they did to him was heinous. So when that attorney was talking about his background, that's right, Clarinetta, Leos are strong and bold as lions. When I put my heart into something, I'll roar. Okay? But that lawyer got on there talking about his background. We don't care nothing about no damn background. He killed, they beat that boy out there. So what kind of nice person they are, they went out the door. Because it takes a special type of characteristic to just beat somebody to death like that without a problem. And that's a sick person. Okay? That's a sick person. Those were sick people. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Y'all hit the like button for me. We down in likes. Make sure y'all hit the like button so that the video can be in the algorithm for me so that it can circulate. That would help the video quite a bit if you all hit the like button so that the video could circulate. Okay. So hit the like button. Y'all know my grandbaby has had me up. Hold on. So, like I said, you guys, what we're going to do is we're going to watch closely. Okay. We're going to watch closely to make sure that Tyre Nichols get justice. And we're going to see what they're going to do to ensure, okay? Yeah, y'all, please run the likes up. We almost there. I need a few more likes to get over 100, you guys, to start putting the video in the algorithm. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do hit the subscription button. Okay. I'm gonna drop the link, and I'm listen. I don't have an issue with what people believe as long as they're not trolling. If you have a difference of opinion from me, I can respect that. Just respect how I feel. That's all I've ever asked. I can respect you as long as you respect me. If I don't feel like you feel, I mean, that's fine. But the problem is people try and destroy you if you don't think like they want you to think. Okay? And that's not how I get down. So I'm glad, Tyre's family, I believe that they are going to get justice. The sad thing about it is that, okay, is that Tyre, okay, is that Tyre would never, is that Tyre, he could never get up out of that grave. That's what's hurtful. But at least we could get some justice for his family. Right? I dropped the link. If anybody wants to, he have a son. He's got a child. I don't know if it's a son or a daughter, but I do know he has a child. Which is unfortunate because that child won't get the opportunity to have a relationship. With his father. They took all of that life away. They took all of that life away, and that's unfortunate. If anybody wants to come up, you guys can. Okay. because I think this is important. I definitely do. They deserve everything that's coming to them. Prison going to be good, right? And they're really gonna have a hard time, because I think when police officers go to jail, go to prison, it's different for them. They have to do 23-1. They automatically, I believe, have to be segregated from the population, because a lot of those people that they're in jail with, they probably arrested. So I think they always segregate them. So it's always harder when they go to jail. I'm telling you. So there is, it's, they're gonna have a hard time. They're gonna have a hard time. Randy, I don't know. I don't know where Tyre's son is now. I really, I don't. Real Deal Lee says, to be honest, I think when the man who said the other blogger name the other night, I think the blogger probably struck your video, Miss T. Probably did. How you doing, Player Cole?
What it do? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. What you think about this Tyre Nichols situation?
It's just sad all the way around the board, you know what I'm saying? Sad. But one thing about the people, we understand everybody wants justice, but you gotta understand at the same time, it's a timing thing on there. Like, it don't happen overnight. And you gotta understand, you're dealing with a system that's already crowded and overbooked with cases. So these people ain't gonna get no life sentence next week. You know what I'm saying? It ain't happen like that.
And Memphis is still, it's a darn shame though, but Memphis is still, the system is still backed up since COVID.
Right. And the holidays will put them behind too.
Yeah, the holidays always put them behind. That's messed up.
And just look at all the crime that's been going on. People that's been going to jail. The jail overcrowded. The courtrooms overcrowded. So I mean, people just got to give it time, the proper time.
Yeah. So what you think about the officers and CJ Davis and them?
Like, what you mean? Like, far as what?
The officers that were arrested, do you think that they did everything that they could possibly do as far as,
like prosecuting them? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Cause this one thing, people they got what, 2nd degree murder, right?
I think it's 2nd degree murder. I think it is.
Okay, understand them. During the court proceeding, they can upgrade them charges. See, people forgetting all about that. They can upgrade them charges. So you just have to wait for it to go through. They basically doing all they can do. You know what I'm saying? And they got fired behind it, right?
Yeah, they got fired behind it. Of course, they were fired. A lot of people got fired. I think, if I'm not mistaken, some more officers was just recently relieved of duty.
Right. So I mean, they own it. It ain't like they said, well, we go keep them at work pending investigation. I mean, these folks are no longer on the force as they should be.
Right. Because normally protocol has been in the past, when officers were put up under investigation, they was relieved of duty with pay, but they automatically just fired these officers. And a lot of people were saying, like when I was over there, you had to, before you could be promoted, before you could be go to a specialized unit or anything like that, you had to have been an officer on the force for 5 years. And I think that was proficient. Now, OCU was a little different, because what they would do was they would pull officers from the training academy, so that, those were new faces. Like if they needed them to buy from drug boys, so that they could do busts or prostitution rings, when they was trying to get Johns and stuff like that, they would put new faces out on the corner, when the police officers act as if they're prostitutes, right?
Right.
But all these other specialized units, I don't think, those task force like that, they should not have had fairly new officers on task force like that really did not have any experience with the police department.
Well, like this one thing I think they need to start doing, and this probably could help a whole lot. Now I think they was talking about doing this. I'm not sure or not, but they need to change their training policy. Make sure they get them officers all the way trained. To me, it seems like what they doing is, by them being short of staff, they just sending a lot of people out there in the field and they not getting properly trained. And it's showing when these officers have certain incidents and still handling it right, they just go in survival mode or whatever the case might be. But like, they definitely need to do better training though. I think that would help out. And assign the officers to neighborhood that they familiar with, let them start getting back, active with the people in the community, you know what I'm saying? That would probably help them out a lot more than what's going on right now. To me.
Yeah. Well,
like you got some respected officers out here. Like I know a couple of them like that the street dudes, like they ain't like when this dude around, we ain't gonna do nothing in front of him. Like they respect the police, certain ones, but it ain't that many of them out there. And we need them kind of officers back around again. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, let's just say it's a certain police that ride in Fraser. He worked 2 to 10. When people know this officer on, they ain't out there on the corner because they know dude ain't gonna play with them. Like they respect him, they work around his shift. And we need more officers like this that's
Thank
involved.
you, Miss Teresa. Hold on, I'm sorry, player code. Thank you, Miss Teresa, for the $5 super sticker. I love you too, Miss Teresa. Hey, Shamus.
Hey,
am I saying it right? Is it Shamus or Shamus?
It's Seamus.
Okay, Shamus.
I ain't mean to interrupt y'all. My apologies.
No, go ahead. You good? I'm glad you came up.
But you were speaking on my grandmother is actually I'm born and raised in Memphis.
Okay.
My grandmother is a retired sergeant who worked at the homicide and burglary division downtown.
What was her name?
LaFrancine Bennett.
Yes.
Yes, that's my grandmother, and my auntie is Gaylis Bennett. Yeah. So my thoughts on this is I hate that it happened here. And I hate that it was the MPD to be involved with it because my mother is still currently working with MPD. Her name is Teresita Davis. And I try not to get mixed emotions on it because of my family's background as being, officers. But it is wrong. And when I saw that video, it made me so sick to my stomach because as a black man, that could have been me driving down there, as I do like to drive at night down here a lot.
Yeah.
And I could have got pulled over randomly. So that made me look into the perspective of Tyre. And I was like, man, I can't imagine what was going through his head as he was realized what was being done to him and that they were about to kill him or do some serious damage to him. And as I told you before earlier, I grew up, I knew one of the officers personally because I go downtown, Demetrius Haley, that's his name. And I go downtown, I always see him down there. And I just never expected him to do something like that because I was like, what's up, Demetrius? He's like, hey, what's up, Seamus? And, always so calm. But as they say, looks can be deceiving. You never know how somebody is until it comes to the light.
What does your grandmother think about what happened?
She was mad too. She was upset because she was like, man, like, I can't believe that the MPD has stooped down to such a level.
Yeah.
Like it used to not even be no type of issues at all. If you
there was they carried a lot of pride in the department. That's when I was on it. Yeah.
And and my auntie also works for the sheriff's department. Her name is Brenda Brown. So it's just man, my grandmother was so messed up about it. And my mother too. My mother actually said she's about to go ahead and retire because she can't take it anymore. She's been at it for 20-some years, so she's about to retire.
Yeah. I don't know Brenda Brown. What area does she work in with the sheriff's office?
Oh, Miss Tia, if I could tell you, I would, but I rarely talk to her. I don't know where specifically areas she works at. I just know she's with the sheriff's office.
Okay, because the sheriff is big though.
It is, yeah,
it's big.
And I heard you talk about Mike Rowlands too. Like I know all these
Yeah.
people personally, so I just wanted to get in here and to express my opinion on the matter.
And Mike is a good guy.
He is. He truly is. And I took a picture with him. Actually, it was like at a festival down there at the I think it was the Heritage Classic. I think a few years ago when I met him, and he was truly an amazing man. I was
He
blown
is.
back by him and how intelligent he was, and
Yeah,
how
I love
presentable.
Mike. You know, a lot of people thought that Sam Hines would precede Mike when Mike left. Sometimes we'd be wanting for Mike to come back, you know, but I think Mike is enjoying his retirement and, you know, just kind of enjoying himself. But who knows, you know, we gotta and see what a lot of people don't know is it's election season. Are you still in Memphis? Are you still around the Memphis area?
Oh yes, man. I'm born and raised. I'm
Okay, we're
25.
in election season. Jim Strickland term is up in August. So CJ Davis is not going to even be, she'll be a thing of the past probably by next January when the new mayor come in, because what does the new mayor do? They always bring their very own police chief.
Yep, that's how it is. Yes, ma'am. So they can have power, which they know they'll obey, because I brought you in. So I mean, you know, that's probably how he thinking.
Yeah, and so that's why I've been cranking up talking about on my TV show to the people around the Memphis area how important it is to make sure that we vet a mayor and get a good mayor in, and not somebody just based on name recognition or race, because we could easily get somebody in there worse than Jim Strickland and they'll bring in a worse police chief, you know?
Yes, ma'am. That is very true. Like they say, be careful what you ask for.
Thank you, Miss Teresa Kane. You're the best too. Yeah, we have to. That's why I say what we have to do now. Like Jim Strickland never should have got 8 years. We saw what he did at the city council, right? So now, but they gave him 8 years. He went to the black churches and he was able to get back in by way of a lot of these black preachers. Now, let me just say this. Jim Strickland is a personable person. You know, he's a lawyer. He's personable. He's all of that. But at the same time, I just don't think that he did enough. I don't think that he did enough. As far as this crime, I don't think they've been aggressive enough. I don't think they've been aggressive enough with getting jobs and stuff in Memphis, because poverty ignites crime.
Yep. Yes, ma'am. And when people can't work, what they do? They go steal, break in houses, kick down doors, rob grocery stores and stuff like that.
Randy says, I also heard the same fire police officers from Memphis did the same thing to that black man 3 days before Tyre Nichols murder. I hadn't heard of that. Do you know what they're talking about?
It had some. I think it was the man on the news. He said something about he had a previous encounter with the Scorpion unit and how they told him, they came up on him, said, "Hey, you put your hands up." He's like, "What did I do?" He like, and then he said they asked him, "Where's the weed? Where's the drugs?" He said, "I don't know. What drugs y'all talk about?" And then he said, "Oh, we just playing with you, man." So I think that's what that was.
Okay, he said, yeah, they're suing him too. Oh, wow. Well, like I said, it starts with when you know the chains of command. The sergeants are the first line supervisors. They were direct supervisors for their unit. So were they doing what they were supposed to do as it relates to that? You see what I mean?
Oh,
Were
yeah.
they supervising them like they should have? You know, if they was getting complaints, were they following through on those complaints, or were they just out there letting them do whatever they wanted to do? Because they seemed quite comfortable in doing that. So it would make me think that the sergeant and the lieutenant, who would be the first line supervisors, especially the sergeant, was just letting them out there run amok.
Do you think there were any sergeants on the scene, Miss T?
I haven't heard that there was sergeants on the
Me either.
scene. Now, if a sergeant came, I'm sure a supervisor had to make the scene, because when you hear the young man trying to plead his case, telling those lies and stuff. Remember when he started lying?
Yep.
He was saying it on camera, but I'm sure that the supervisor had made the scene at that point.
Ah, I see.
Because whenever there's an arrest, supervisors always have to make the scene before the officers even take the transport to the jail.
Miss Tamara. She works at the sheriff. She knows you. I'm on the live stream with her. Miss T, here's my grandmother right here.
You said she at work. She was with MPD, right?
She's a retired.
Yeah, tell her I said hello. I remember her.
She remember you, Mom.
I retired in 2012.
Yeah, I remember you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you're
not
doing
guilty
good.
today.
I'm glad
good.
you're
They all
doing.
plead not guilty, but one.
I
She
couldn't.
said,
I
she
couldn't
said they all pleaded guilty not guilty except one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she watching it too, invested on it, just like I am, where the whole city is actually.
Yeah. Well, like I said, hopefully with all of this going on, we got all of these leaders that really comes to try and hijack Memphis. We see now a lot of people trying to hijack Memphis. They're not necessarily putting anything into Memphis. They're just taking, and the people are still struggling and still impoverished. And that just that pisses me off.
Man, you too, me too, Miss T. Because like when I drive over there in the Fraser area and stuff like that, I look at those houses and all that. I'm like, man, this is terrible. Like, are they ever gonna put any effort or thought into fixing this community up?
You see all of that blight, like it's a sad thing. Like, and I try to express the importance, especially on my show and on here too, of like around like that Parkway area in South Memphis, like in North Memphis, when you have like grandmothers and mothers who have houses there and they die, pay the taxes on those houses. Don't let those houses go back to the county. And that's what they're doing.
Yep. And they're gonna
They
tear
let
it
them go
down.
back to the county, and then either the houses get tore down, it's blight in the community, or there you have investors that are buying up those houses and selling them for 5 times more, and kind of pushing all of the people that live in those neighborhoods, kind of pushing them out. That's why you see so many people out east and stuff. Like, I just think that we as Black people need to have a renewal of the mind, because it's so much stuff going on. And I know, like, I could talk about it, you could have other people talk about it, and I've even had Thaddeus Matthews. Thaddeus Matthews, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thaddeus to say, yeah, Tamara, he was over at my studio, because you remember Gerald the mechanic that was killed.
I've heard of him, but I forgot how long ago it was.
I'm doing something on his cold case, and so Thaddeus came over to my studio because Thaddeus knew him, and Thaddeus gave me an interview about Gerald because they were on this, with the same production company, and he was talking about that. He said, you fuss and stuff, and you have a lot of passion, but people gotta have a changing of the mind, because you'll give yourself a damn stroke. People gotta change their mindset. Can't nobody just consistently. You could put the information out there, but you got to do something with it.
Because people want to see results,
right?
And that's all that is to it. Miss Tamara, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So regarding Dolph death, do you think his death shedded more, like all that darkness of Memphis came to the light during when he got assassinated?
I think it did. I think it forced a lot of people to have to try to do something, because this crime going on like this every single day. And that's the reason why I always say, I would hate to believe that young Dolph had to be a sacrificial lamb, because he deserved to live just like anybody else. I don't even like saying that. I would hate to believe that, but if his murder didn't do anything else, it forced people to start doing something. It brought a lot of attention. You know, you got the feds involved. You know, it has brought a lot of attention. That's the reason why I say when people say, well, you know, it's crooked officers involved. If there are some crooked officers involved, hey, I'm glad the feds involved to get them, because you know they're gonna get got to.
Yeah, they're gonna get everybody. The feds don't care about nothing. They want everybody. Whoever involved, any form of involvement, whether it's little to big, they're gonna get you.
They said the Alabama hitter said Buddy's so articulate, he just broke every Memphis stereotype. Go get Jeremy Pierre. Young, it's a lot of articulate people in Memphis, Alabama.
But he calling me articulate?
You do articulate very well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, he said go get Jeremy Pierre's spot. I like Jeremy Pierre. I'm gonna tell you something. Jeremy Pierre be out there on the beat. I love it. I love it.
Indeed. I just tell people I'm just a 25-year-old young man. I'm in college at U of M getting my architecture degree. Yeah, I'm invested in helping the city. I like to see the city grow. As you said before, we want to see the city do good. We're gonna do everything in our power as an individual to see the city grow into great heights and get new tourism, new buildings, just new attraction. And that's my whole goal. And I'm proud to be a Memphian, and I'm proud to rep my city anywhere I go.
Yeah, Memphis, believe it or not, Memphis really is a beautiful city.
It is, truly.
Memphis is a beautiful city. I love Memphis. I do. You know, it's nothing like Beale Street. Even to this day, like I love, like even though the Civil Rights Museum has been down there forever, I just love going to the Civil Rights Museum. Like having all of their history there, being able to see, you know, Dr. King's room. They got it just like, you know, they have it just like it was, you know, all of his things still there. Like it's a lot of rich history in Memphis. You know, you had Stack Studios, Sun Studios, like all of that. It's still beautiful, but they got to do something about the crime. It's not the city, it's some of the people in the city.
Right. And those people in the city make us look bad. Like
absolutely,
they try to pinpoint those actions upon us, the people who didn't have nothing to do with it, who trying to see the city grow. Like they make us just look bad. And it's sad. It truly is.
Yes, indeed. Miss Teresa, I don't know if I said thank you for the $10, but thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. I appreciate that. I tell you. So it's gotta, like I said, because you hear a lot of people, especially in my chat, people from different cities and states, they'll say, but Miss T, the same thing happening in our city too. But I think because of this young Dolph situation, it just brought a lot of eyes and attention, because the same thing is going on everywhere.
Anyway, yep.
It's going any and everywhere. The same things are going on, but young Dolph did bring a lot of attention. And you know, I hate that happened to young Dolph. It was just so wrong. But I'm just happy that the feds are involved.
Yes. Ooh, when I heard the feds involved, Ms. Tamara, I immediately sighed in relief, because I knew I said Memphis MPD, they ain't gonna really put the effort in like that. But they did, though. I'm gonna give them their credit. They did. I did underestimate them because I thought they was gonna let this slide, to be honest. Cause like, well, we had an idea of who did it. Everybody kind of knew. If you were Memphian, you already knew who was involved, or you had an idea they had some type of involvement. Because 4 attempts on somebody's life, come on now. That speaks for itself. But you know, whenever that day comes and whoever was involved, I just hope all of it gets solved, and I hope, you know, people can look at this situation and be like, we need to grow from this. We need to do better. It's a genocide on our people right now, and people are just too blind to see it.
And so you all are, because you're the Alabama hitter. That is a very true statement. Your audience, you say you're 25 years old, so you're around the same age as my children. So you all are the ones that we have to set examples for, that we have to try to show what's right, you know. So when I get on here and I have a lot of passion and I'm talking about the OGs, I'm serious. I feel that way, because what do you all have to mimic and look up to? if they're teaching y'all, not teaching you all what's right. Believe it
Right.
or not, a lot of these OGs have, especially these little dudes that are out in the street, they have a lot of influence on them. It's nothing for them to tell them, no, this ain't the way to go. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. Instead of sending them on like a crash dummy missions and things of that nature. So you all are really our future. And what we have to do is we have to set examples. That's the reason why, like, it's jaw dropping when I get on YouTube and I see how some of these folks act on. They have YouTube channels, especially when they're in their late 30s and up. I go, oh my God! Like if they're exuding that, what do they think? I'm sure their kids are looking at them.
Oh yeah, most
Other people
definitely.
are looking at them. What do they have to look up to?
And you see, they like to follow. Nobody wants to be a leader nowadays. Everybody wants to follow what the next wave or trend is. They want to be on YouTube and just say, because I've seen so many ridiculous conspiracy theories about Dolph's death, and it just made me so mad because I hear people speaking that's not even from here, don't know what's going on. And I'm like, this is following the wave of what they hear.
And then try to discredit somebody that
Right.
is from here,
Who
that knows
actually
what's
hear
going
and
on.
who got inside knowledge of what's going on.
Absolutely.
That be you or any other, well-known YouTuber or activist in the city of Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this quote that I always say: the blind man is not the one who chooses who can't see. He's the one who chooses not to see.
Absolutely.
See, you can be you can see it and act like you don't see it, and you could be blind to it. But me, I'm not gonna be blind to it. I'm gonna tell you what it is and call it out. Just be that one to step up and try to be the lead road.
That's an astute statement, young man. You absolutely right.
Thank you so much, Ms. T. And I watch your videos like every day. I wait until I see that notification of you dropping because I know you're finna drop some gems like you always do. And I've been invested in the case just like you have. And I actually found your channel by looking up Dolph, and I was on YouTube watching another YouTuber from a different state, and then I saw your name and I popped up, and that was my first video I watched of you, and I said, wow, she know what she talking about. She sound like my grandma when she's speaking. So that's what made me tune in to you, And it's funny because you actually know her, which is crazy.
Yeah. LaFrancine Bennett. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Everything is a full circle.
Everything is full circle. Well, I appreciate it, young man. And
yes, ma'am.
hopefully, because straight dropping them are all around y'all your age. And hopefully, what you're doing great things, and you say you're in college and you're taking agriculture. Is that what you said? Architecture.
Yes, ma'am.
I wish you great success, and I hope and pray, that a lot of other people that are around your age, especially in the city of Memphis, because you all are our future. I always say that you all are the future of the Black race. We look to you all to carry on the legacies so that the people that come behind you all will know about what great people did for the Black community, right? So we don't need y'all to be extinct. So when I get on here and I preach with a lot of passion, it is because even with the people that I talk about, like the Yo Gottis and the Big Jukes, because I hear Big Jukes stay on this damn page in the bushes. Hopefully it'll penetrate them and they'll have some type of damn conviction on what they doing.
Yeah, and like you, if they don't see that this won't wake them up, then hey, I guess it's just no stopping them. I guess they gonna live with what they did behind the cell, be happy, because I'm pretty sure they over there tunning and celebrating and all that. But when they get behind that cell, they gonna regret everything they did. I'm pretty sure. Cause I heard you say someone regret it now. So
They do.
And I don't like it.
It's gonna be a lot more of them to regret it too, because life is a long time.
Ooh-wee, you reap what you
Now
sow.
that they see that they're not getting away with it. You say your mother is still with MPD?
Oh yes, ma'am. She's working. I think she's at desk now, cause she got tired of the stuff, and she just said it's so taxing on her, cause it's 7 of us actually.
Yeah.
And she's still raising my little sisters.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard for her to imagine her being in that situation of life or death, like we all fear. But her being out there in that police uniform is really a higher chance of her something happening to her. So
Mm-hmm.
she just looking at different perspectives of how she like 42 now. So she's just saying, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and call it in. Because my
Mm-hmm.
stepdad, they had a house built, they living pretty well. So she said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I might as well just go ahead and call it in.
Yeah, especially if she got about 25. What does she think about this Doss case?
Oh, now my mother, she doesn't like rap music. Now, when she
Mm-hmm.
said this, it really made me realize how serious this was. She's like, I can't believe they killed that boy like that. I cannot believe that. I heard nothing but great things about him. And she's like, it's just truly sad and sickening when I heard this, because you just realize how important of a figure he was to Memphis. He was the people. He was a regular person trying to help us out. He just had a lot of money. But he didn't see himself as a superstar, as like he just said, hey, I love my city. I want to give back to them and be that figure in the city, in the community, which he was. And he
Yeah.
did have love. He was known everywhere though, especially Texas and Cali. They loved him out there. But here in his home, hearing that he got killed here and the way he got killed, it's just
Yeah. And the idea that other Memphians, played a part in that,
yeah,
and
that too.
wanted to get on
Man.
social media,
And
even with
brag.
their fame and stuff, with their audience, and make fun of what they did to him. That's evil. That's
Truly.
completely demonic. It brought a lot of shame to the city. And when people say, "Well, you choosing sides," it ain't but one side to choose, and that's what's right.
Yes, ma'am. Indeed. You always gonna face justice, no matter what. The righteous shall always be, in the light.
I agree. I agree. Well, young man, I appreciate you coming up.
Yes, Miss T. Yes, Miss T. I'll always be tuned into your shows and watch and listen to everything you say. Trust and believe that.
Well, I appreciate that, and don't make this the last time you come up.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll be tuned in next time, and I'll slide through and drop some wisdom off.
Well,
I
I
actually love these
appreciate.
comments that giving me praise me. Thank y'all so much. It's all love, and God bless y'all all.
Thank you, love.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Tamara. Next time.
Okay. I love to see the future of our people, especially that young man seems to have his head on right. This is what I like to see, especially in young adults. When their vision is clear and they can see a future. And I think for a lot of young adults now, their vision is just not clear, and they can't see. They don't have any faith in themselves. They can't see a future for themselves. They don't understand that there is a way out. They just don't understand that, and it's very, very heartbreaking to me, which is why I can have compassion for some of the young adults, because I understand even when you try to counsel them, you try to help to raise their self-esteem and things of that nature, when they're going back to a home that is toxic, everything that you've really taught them is kind of thrown out of the window, because children are a product of their environment. They truly are a product of their environment. And so, it that statement reigns true, that it takes a village. And so those that are out on the street, instead of misusing them, they already troubled. Anytime you have to seek validation and stuff outside of your home, it's probably because there's trouble in your home. And when trouble is in your home, trouble will penetrate you. Okay? It will penetrate you. And it incorporates itself in your everyday life, right? And so when you see that these kids are seeking, or these young adults are seeking validation, why don't you be the voice of reason and try to help them and guide them in the right direction? That's what's going to help the Black community. That's what's going to help the Black community. All right. That's what's going to help our community. So, hey, that's just how I feel. 25 years old, more sense than the cuckabugs. Okay, more sense than a lot of the cuckabugs. Absolutely. Nothing like a respectful, well-spoken young Black man. I'm telling you. I remember when his grandmother was a police officer. She was very outspoken. She was very outspoken. That young man is awesome with a bright plan for his future. Absolutely. Absolutely, you guys. Well, you guys, I enjoyed being on here with you all today. I wanted to talk about the 5 Memphis police officers in Tyre Nichols' case. They had court and they pleaded not guilty. Of course, we expected that, but we gotta, pay close attention and make sure that their feet are held to the fire to make sure that there is justice in totality for Tyre Nichols. Tyre's mother, every time I hear her talk about her son, it breaks my heart because any mother can feel her pain. You carry a child for 9 months, you feed them, you raise them, you love them, only for a bunch of people that's supposed to be protecting and serving the community to take him out of here, to decide that they was going to take her child away from her. And that's heartbreaking, and that's evil on a whole nother level. So definitely sending love and prayers to Tyre's mother. I'm reminded of her pain every time I hear her voice. And, we want to make sure that they're prosecuted to the fullest, these officers. And not only that, but a lot of these city officials and the government, like he said, like Van Turner was saying, Van is an attorney. He been in government forever. I think he's running for mayor now. So it seemed to me he should have been trying to do something. He been in government for a long time in the city of Memphis, but okay. But hey, Van is a personable person. He done been over there to my studio too, child. I like Van, okay, but he's always been a very safe person. He don't rock the boat, okay. So it's easy for him to stand next to Ben Crump. And I ain't trying to dog Van out, but I'm from Memphis. I know. Okay. But it's easy for him to stand next to Ben Crump, because Ben Crump is the Ben Crump is leading that ship. So it's easy for him to stand next to him, I guess, and act like he doing something, because he been in government in Memphis for many, many years, and I don't know nothing he done did. Okay. Now he running for mayor. But anyways, I digress. That's why I always say we have to hold these folks' feet to the fire. Okay. We don't need to vote just based on race. I'm gonna vote for him because he a black man. Just because he black don't mean he gonna do a damn thing for the community. Let me tell y'all something, and I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I gotta say it. I found out that there is nothing miraculous about what other communities do to get what they want done. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all, just within my dad teaching me about politics for the last 9 years, because my dad was in politics. Okay. And looking at a lot of these politicians and things of that nature, there's nothing miraculous about what other communities do to get what they want. What they do is they vet politicians. And so the secret is they don't ever want black people to want to learn about politics, because they understand whoever controls the politics controls the money. All of the money comes through the politicians. So they want you all to keep that energy. I just let the politicians deal with the politics. No. Okay. No. Okay. That's no, we're supposed to make sure the politicians are doing what they're supposed to do. But this is what white people do. This is what Asians and other communities do. What they'll do is they'll say, if a politician is running, they will vet them. They will vet them. They'll say, what this is what we need in our community. We need this. We want a park. We need more. We need, this school stay open. We need this. We need that. Can you do that? They don't let them come to their community and say, oh, and sell them a dream. They'll say, we don't want to hear what you're talking about, what you're going to do. This is our community. This is what we need. And this is what we need your office to execute. Can you do that? Because you work for us. And they'll say, if they say, well, yeah, we can do it. They vet them. They'll say, well, we're going to give you a chance. You got 4 years, because every election just about is 4 years. We're going to give you 4 years to do what we need you to do in our community, because understand, we elect you so you work for us. Black people don't do that. They don't understand the politicians work for us. Okay? So after 4 years, if they don't do what they supposed to do, that politician is gonna say them white politicians is them white people in that community or them Asians is gonna say, I tell you what, you a likable person. You know, we know your family. We think you're a good man, but you didn't do what you said you was gonna do. So it ain't nothing personal. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna reelect you. We don't dislike you. We just gonna put somebody there that can do the job. It ain't a reflection of how we feel about you, but we want results, and you didn't give us that. So you're gonna be a one-term city council. You're gonna be a one-term mayor. You're gonna be a one-time term county commissioner. You're gonna do one term, okay? So we're not going to elect you. We're going to get our people together, and we're not gonna let 5 or 6 people get into the damn race to split up the votes like black people do. We're gonna tell one person they're gonna get in the race, and that's who we're gonna vote for. And we're gonna give them the opportunity to do what you didn't do because we gave you 4 years. Black people don't do that. We vote based on race, based on name recognition, based on what the pastor say. And then when they get up there and don't do what they supposed to do, they come to the church and preach and holler and say, and the Lord, with a T. Oh, you know, that's a good man. He got up there and preached. You ain't seen him in 4 years. Your preacher tell you to vote for him, and you done voted for the nigga again, and he ain't did nothing the first 4 years. Okay? We're consistently re-electing people that ain't doing nothing but hijacking our community. So it ain't nothing miraculous about what other people do to get results. They stick together and they don't play. They vet them and they watch them. But instead, we're going to vote based on the name of the person and the color of the person, white or black. Okay? Well, you know, I just voted for the white mains. It's because he was white. We need some white mains with a Z on the damn end. Oh, well, you know, I just wanted to vote for the brother. I just wanted to vote, but yeah, but he was a state representative. He was a crook. Yeah, but I know his name though. I ain't know them other people, sis. I ain't know their name, so I ain't vote for them. I ain't know nothing about them. So y'all, we got to do better because we keep shooting ourselves in the foot. In order to get better results, we're gonna have to do something different. I always say that. I mean, my stance don't change. I've always been like this, and it's not going to change. Okay. It hasn't changed. It never have, and it never will. Okay. It never has, and it never will. Okay. So, anyways, you guys, I've enjoyed being on here with you guys very, very much. Now what had happened was I said I wasn't gonna go and eat out, but one of my friends just texted me and said, you want to meet at the Mexican restaurant? Y'all, I go to this Mexican restaurant in Memphis. I ain't gonna say which one. And they sell these fluentes. And it be so good. Oh my God, those fluentes. I don't know what that little white sauce be on top of it, but it be so good. And I guess they must have known what I was thinking because I got to go over to the office. I got a client. I got to be somewhere at 6 o'clock anyways. My grandbaby was here since 5 o'clock a.m. She wouldn't let me put her down. I wasn't able to do nothing but hold her. She hollered and screamed every time I tried to put her down. So I ain't really had no sleep, and I haven't eaten anything. So I'm gonna get off of here and go meet my friend at the Mexican restaurant. And I may get back on later tonight. I'll probably get back on later tonight after my appointment. And I'll get on fairly early because I got to go out on a case tomorrow morning. But I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you. The way I look at it, I believe in treating people the way they're supposed to be treated. And I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, I have a Billy Club nightstick, but I just don't use it on people just to be using. The only thing I use it if somebody's trying to attack me. But other than that, I just be reasonable with the person. But if that person don't want to be reasonable, then I have no choice but to defend myself. Everybody has to defend themselves. Everybody has to defend themselves. I think it would be good also if, and I'm gonna say this, if a lot of citizens would go through the Citizens Academy and see how police officers are trained. A lot of people don't believe me when I say I went through the academy, and to this day, because of the training that I have paranoia about people standing behind my back. I don't let people stand behind me. If I'm standing in line and somebody is standing behind me, I'll turn sideways, because they trained us in the academy that you don't ever let anybody stand behind you. You don't ever let anybody circle you in. So I won't stand in anywhere where there's a circle. That's the reason why when I was looking at, what happened with Quavo and Takeoff, we saw all those dudes had Quavo in them circled. That's a threat. They teach you in the academy that is a threat, to let people circle you like that. Whenever I go somewhere, I don't pull in, I back in everywhere, because that's where they train us. When we had driving school in the academy, driving training, no police officer pulls into nothing. You always back in. So everywhere I go, I back in. That's just what they taught us. I don't let, when people that I don't know, and see, I don't think a lot of people know that. That's the reason why I always tell my cousins and stuff. And they say, well, them police officers there, I'll go. But you have to understand, and I'm not talking about Tyre officers. I'm just saying in general. When they say don't take your hand out your pockets, when people are talking to me and I don't know them and they got their hands in their pocket, if they walk up to me, like a guy walked up to me, I was at the gas station yesterday. He had his hand in his pocket. He said, ma'am. And the first thing I did was I zoned in on his hands. He was like, oh, hey, I ain't got nothing. I promise you, I'm not trying to do nothing to you. I said, that's okay. But as long as his hands was in his pocket, he was a threat to me, because that's how they train us. Watch people, don't have your hands in your pocket. But a lot of people don't know that is the training that is instilled, because it's paramilitary. And I'm not giving anybody any excuses. That's why I say it is good for a lot of citizens to go through the Citizens Academy so that they can see how police officers are trained. I don't let people talk to me with their hands in their pocket. I'll back up off of them if I don't know them, because we was taught that that's a threat. Okay? So I just think people don't, it's a lot of things that people don't know. I think the police and the community need to be trying to work together, because the police need the community, the law-abiding community, and the law-abiding community need the police. That's all. It shouldn't be no enemies. It shouldn't be no police committing no brutality and things of nature. It shouldn't be like that. That's all I'm saying. And if there are crooked ones, overthrow their asses. Get them, do what you need to do, get them fired. And the right and the good police officers need to be working with the communities to ensure that happens. That's all I've been saying from day one. But see, a lot of criminals don't like police officers because they want to be able to rape you and your children and burglarize you and rob you and steal your cars and shoot you and kill you, and nothing happens. Okay? That's what they want to be able to do. They don't want to go to jail. We don't need no police officers. Why not? Because they ain't right. Nigga, you been a burglar and a robber your whole damn life, nigga. And you rape women too. So what you talking about? You don't need no police. Of course you don't want no police officers. Okay? So you have to watch those people like that has a life of crime. They want to be able to scam and not the feds not come and get them. We hate the feds. Why? Because they're gonna get you for fraud. You have to be careful when these folks are doing certain stuff. Okay? I hate the police. All you ever did was kill people. What you talking about? Or shoot at folks. And you hate the police? You ain't in jail. What you hating them for? You ought to be in jail. Because you likes to shoot people. Hey, Nancy. Okay? I'm telling you, I always keep my back up against the wall. I don't let people stand behind me. It's just a paranoia. I don't let people stand over me either. Not in an aggressive stance. I don't. I tell them, do not stand over me aggressively. Okay. Especially if we having a deep argument or a conversation or something. I said, don't stand over me and argue with me because I'm vulnerable. I'm gonna kick you because you raising a threat to me. Okay. Anyways, you guys, I want you guys to know that I really love you and I appreciate you guys. I'll be back on tonight. Okay. I'm getting ready. I got to go meet my friend. I'm getting me something to eat. I'm hungry. My head is hurting me. I love you guys. I'll talk with you.